Sorry I didn't upload a video last week. I've been a little off kilter with the whole isolation and virus thing, but I appreciate your patience a lot. And today we're going to talk about April Rose Zane. She went missing at age 17 from Frankfurt, Illinois, and it was a subscriber request, so thank you, soldier. April Rose Zane was born February 25th, 1960 in Chicago, and she grew up in Roseland right outside of Chicago until the age of 11. Her parents were worried about the violence and the crime going on, so they wanted a nicer place for their kids to grow up. So they moved to Frankfurt, which is more of a rural area. April had a difficult time living in a rural community. She felt she didn't belong in Frankfurt. She missed all her friends back in Chicago. She missed the city life even after 6 years. April was known to run away. She would hitchhike to get to Chicago because she wanted to be with her friends, but she always came back on her own, except for a few instances when she was arrested for being out past curfew. April moved from junior high to high school and went to Lincoln Way High School, where she was on the choir. April and her little sister Sharon had two half-sisters that lived nearby, and April would babysit their children often. Both of these sisters were involved in the drug world. They had druggie friends, they had drug dealer friends, and it's like they wanted to suck April into that world, and she wanted to move in with one of these sisters, and I'm guessing it's because of more freedom if she moved in, but that never happened. A drug dealer friend of theirs offered for her to live with him, and all she would have to do is sell pills. Well, she didn't want to do that. And later on, she went to the police and turned these drug dealers in. This led to their arrest, and after this, she was paranoid, and rightfully so. She was afraid to walk alone. She was afraid to even leave the house. And there were several times that her mother found a dark vehicle sitting outside their home, and she would call the police, but by the time the police showed up, the vehicle would be gone. So for a while, April went and lived with her grandma, and her address was listed as a homeless shelter. Now there's a discrepancy on when April went missing. Most information says April 18th, 1977, but April's sister Sharon says it was 1976 instead, and she remembers because the Easter Sunday fell on their dad's birthday. Sharon would have been 6 at the time, and I believe her birthday was a week later, so I think she would have been turning 7. But it was Easter Sunday, and it was their father's birthday. The beginning of the day, they went to their grandma's, the whole family, to spend some time with her for Easter, and they brought her a lily. And then the whole family went back home to get ready for a birthday party for their father. April really wanted her friend Sandy to come over for the party, so she asked until she got permission. Before she went to leave to go get Sandy, Sharon remembers standing at the top of the stairs begging her to go with her. She wanted to go with her big sister, but her big sister denied her coming with. But Sharon remembers the last words she said: "I'll see you later, kid. I'll be back soon." The last known contact with April was between her and Sandy. April called her from a payphone asking for her to come over, and Sandy couldn't because her parents said it was Easter Sunday. And after that, nobody's heard from April since. She just vanished off the planet. The police were notified and knew that she was gone, but for some reason there was never a missing file case created, and I'm not sure what went on with that. They wouldn't follow up on tips. It just sounds like the family had a really hard time getting the police involved. I'm guessing they assumed that she was a runaway. At that time, April hadn't had a social security card assigned to her, so there was no way for the police to track her through that to see if she ran away. Now, it seems to me they did think she was a runaway, even though her family did not, because she always came home and she would call at the very least. So they didn't take part in helping find her, which I think is ridiculous, because I think even if it is a runaway case, they should still take it seriously. April's parents made sure her face was all over milk cartons and flyers. However, her two older half-sisters didn't help participate in the searches. They didn't ask how the search was going. They had nothing at all to do with April being gone. It's like they didn't care. And one of the sisters hadn't even told her husband at that time that her sister was even missing. When April's parents passed away in 2003, her sister Sharon took over the case. Now, one of these older half-sisters told Sharon if she needed to stop publicizing April's case or else. The police refused to question either sister, and one of them's deceased now. And what I find really odd is one of their daughters, it would be Sharon's niece, wrote a letter to the police station saying that April and Sharon's parents had something to do with her disappearance. Now, that side of the family really hadn't had anything to do with their side of the family since April went missing, and this niece would have been maybe a year old when she did vanish. In 2017, Sharon had April declared deceased, but Sharon's DNA is in a database hoping to find a match someday. April was 5'8" and 115 pounds when she went missing. She had red hair, freckles, and blue eyes, and she was wearing a brown flannel jacket. April had scars on both her right knee and her chin. She also had a scar on her right hip from having her appendix removed. If you know anything about April Rose's disappearance, please call the Frankfurt Police Department at 815-469-4935, and that number will also be listed down in the description box below. I feel that the Frankfurt Police Department really dropped the ball on this one. There was so much they could do. I mean, she turns in some drug dealers and then goes missing. And they didn't interview anybody, not even her sisters who knew the drug dealers. It's just a little strange to me. That's just my opinion. Thank you again to Soldier for the case suggestion. This was a really interesting case. If anybody else has any suggestions about crime in the Midwest, please drop a comment. If you like my content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time.